Hey, Guoba here. Your account is probably better than you realize, and today I'll be explaining why. I'll be talking about relic sets as well as the power of substats for both DPS and supports, and how you could clear content you've been struggling with by just changing your equipment philosophy. So like and sub has helped, and let's begin. Relic sets are definitely strong, and this guide isn't saying to stop farming for sets or discard your pieces because it's part of a 4-piece set. I would just like to showcase today that 4 pieces are not everything. We don't have an Emblem of Severed Fate set or a Videscent Vanera set just yet that go crazy when their set bonuses are activated. The closest thing to a universal DPS set is the Quantum set, but that requires conditional effects to be top tier. We also have the Pioneer set, but it also won't be beating your usual best in slot sets if you can't double those crit effects. So now let's go further. Let's properly examine the strongest 4 pieces for DPS on some characters compared to running no set bonuses at all. That would be Prisoner for dot units, Duke for high hit count follow-up units, Pioneer for crit DPS with debuffs, and the Quantum set for quantum DPS. These are the highest relic boosts we can get right now. You could say Longevous for Blade, but it's only way better than other options for him. So let's see some examples of their damage increase. The Prisoner set for Black Swan is a 13.5% increase from no sets and will be even higher if you consider a permanent 3-dot uptime on the enemies. The Duke set for Jing Yuan is 15.7% better than no set bonuses. The Pioneer set for Acheron is 13 to 18% better depending on your team and light cone. And finally, the Quantum set is 13 to 15% better than no set bonuses for Shui Yi, for example. Again, these specific sets are top tier when you can fulfill their conditions, having an average of a 15% DPS increase over rainbow pieces. But all of these calculations are based on all of these relic sets having the same subsets as each other. So then, what happens when you consider the average gamer's luck, where they'll have much better rainbow pieces than 4 set pieces? To compare this, we will be doing 5 tests for 3 different set types, and this will all be on Welt, as he doesn't have massive self buffs that may skew the data a bit, and because his best in slot sets are simple crit value boosting sets. So on a relic piece, we have 3 to 4 lines, so we can start with 1 to 4 good subsets. So when rolling, we could miss 5 times, or hit the subsets we want up to 5 times. In total, we have 8 to 9 rolls per piece. We'll be considering 3 liners or 8 rolls per piece, or 32 total, since we are not looking at Planars just yet. We will be comparing between 4 Pioneer, his best in slot, 2 Pioneer 2 Musketeer, 2 Pioneer alone, and then full rainbow pieces, so no relic bonuses whatsoever. So we'll give Welt those sets and then compare having 8 out of 32 subs being into offensive stats, then 12, then 16, then 20, and finally 24. Basically, we'll go in increments of 4 subsets, which can be 1 extra good sub on every piece on your relics, or just swapping 1 bad piece for 1 good one. As for Planars in these simulations, they are the same in every single one. So after 20 simulations and Google Sheets begging me to end the pain, the results were in. And as we can see, they all gain the same boosts at subset differences. What this now lets us do is compare substat value to the set value. For example, we can see that 16 subs on a 2 damage 2 attack combo is much better than going for trash pieces on our 4-piece Pioneer. We can even compare outside of the 4-piece, where we can see a godly rainbow set is as good as a few less subs with a 2-piece damage 2-piece attack combo. And it's even better than losing 4 subs and going for a 2-piece damage percent. And it makes sense. Getting attack percent, crit rate, crit damage is very important, and they contribute to DPS gains just like the set bonuses do. For example, gaining 12% attack from the Musketeer 2-piece is not going to be worth losing out on 4 crit substats. And then gaining that giant crit value from the 4-piece Pioneer also isn't worth it if you're losing that same amount by having terrible pieces. Now this is for crit DPS, and dot units do not hunt for crit substats, and they also saturate on attack percent. Meaning that 4-piece Prisoner is actually pretty valuable. Nonetheless, some dot DPS still have breakpoints, like Black Swan's 120% effect hit rate breakpoint, and they also really like speed, so it can still be worth the 2-piece in some cases. I would recommend getting their set the most out of DPS though. So to conclude for relics, you don't need to go for that 4-piece set. You can and should farm for it, as is the relic grind, but if you don't get lucky, then don't worry. You should not forget about those cracked 3 or 4 liners that are on a random set like Musketeer. Going for 2 pieces instead with high substat value is more important than forcing a 4 piece with okay substats. And this was all done with the Pioneer set too, which is a very strong set when maximized, which it was here. If we take a weak set like the Fire or Physical set, the difference between 2 piece and 4 piece is so small that substats should absolutely be prioritized. Some more bonuses are that Echoes of War is thus efficient in the early and mid game when you need those boss mats, since they drop musketeer pieces that can eventually be godly. For break DPS and even outside of break DPS, again those cracked double crit attack % thief pieces are still absolutely usable. These pieces won't dissipate either when you enter the late game. This also means you don't need to bother with farming bad sets like the 5 4-piece set when you can just pop on some OP rainbow pieces. It can also mean you only need to farm up to a 2-piece of said set if you have amazing rainbow pieces or a 2-piece attack % set waiting in the back. It means you can farm efficient and universal 2 pieces that also have great 4 pieces, and you can use them to get units to a usable state. For example, the follow-up dot domain can be used to kit those guys up with 4 pieces, but you should never be upset at an amazing crit prisoner piece since the 2 piece is still attack %. Speed on DPS can still be very valuable when not running certain setups like Fast Sparkle, so even those crit hackerspace pieces can be used. For DPS and their Planars, we don't have 1-piece planar bonuses, so the 2-piece bonuses should be prioritized. The best planar sets usually sit at around a 10% boost over no set bonuses for DPS. This means you can still rainbow them if you have cracked pieces and nothing on set. But since you only need 2 of them, it's like searching for a 2-piece relic combo, so definitely try to get the bonus on Planars. You also have many different DPS planar sets, and you can always equip your DPS with a less optimal set provided it still has great subs. For example, I can equip my Argenti with an okay inert set, but if I have a Rutilant Arena set with many more crit and attack % subs, of course I want to equip that one instead, even if inert is technically his best in slot. Consider farming efficient worlds over niche ones that won't help you out, and if you want a relic efficiency guide, let me know below. Onto the topic of supports. Well, for supports, rainbowing is very normal and even optimal since DPS farming is much more of a pain. The faster you get your supports to a usable state, the faster you can min-max your DPS. For 4-piece support bonuses, we have the Pass-By set that can grant us a skill point, only required in niche first turn rotations or zero cycling perhaps. We also have the Win set, which is the better zero cycle set and is only for min-maxing your clears. We have the Hackerspace set, which gives a negligible and sometimes even annoying speed boost. And we have the Watchmaker set, which I think will see more potential in the future, but still isn't that massive of a DPS boost compared to something like Videsse and Venera. Supports, if they are not min-maxing with the Win set, usually go for 2 hacker and a 2-piece that is defensive, say Wuthering, Longevous, or even Knight. Healers can go for the Pass-By 2-piece as well, and if it's a support like Raw May, then the Thief or Watchmaker as a 2-piece work too. 4 pieces are not necessary for supports as of now. But the most important reason why 4 pieces are not prioritized on supports is because they are based on stat breakpoints. Where DPS want more and more crit and attack %, supports just need to survive and be at the speed or scaling stat that you want. So instead of forcing 4 hack space on Sparkle and losing crit damage and some speed, just slap 2 hacker on her and give her the best crit damage speed pieces you have to offer. This even works for debuffers. You don't want to be at 70% effect hit rate on Silverwolf and miss out on debuffs just because you want a 4-piece Thief set. Of course, for supports again, planar sets are amazing, but you don't have the annoyance of damage % orbs, you only have energy ropes. But go and synthesize an energy rope and get a HP or defense orb with some good substats and they should all be set. So the next time you see that juicy crit rainbow piece, maybe give it a +3 or +6 and see if it's going to be godly. Alongside a DPS 2-piece set, it could save you a lot of farming and still give you the same or even a bigger benefit as a 4-piece with mediocre stat lines. Remember, 4 pieces for the DPS are still the end goal, but DPS works just fine before that. Anyways, like and sub if this video helped, and let me know below what other topics you want me to check out. Thanks to my amazing YouTube members, thanks for watching, and have a Guoba day.